That
So
is
we're
its
sitting here
name.
talking about Old Key West, and Derek has successfully called the gurgling suitcase the thirsty alligator. And now I mean, that has to become the new name. What would be the drink of the thirsty alligator?
I don't know,
It should be
but
the
I would.
drink's name too.
Yeah.
The thirsty
Well.
alligator. It'd be like green and full
Uh-huh.
of rum.
Swamp chomp.
The best drink there is Old Key Jeff. They sell a drink called Old Key Jeff.
The Old Key Jeff drink. Yeah, no.
It's a very strong
That's
libation.
going to stick with you for the rest of your life, whether you want it to or not, Jeff.
That's fine. I could be called worse things. I've been called worse things.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I am your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
We've got John Scary, aka Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
Derek DeBoer looking so nice and shiny with his new lights in his house. What is
This is the best drink I've ever had from the thirsty alligator. Hey, now.
And Jeff Haslam joining us also.
Oh,
That wasn't
That's
me.
Old
Who was
Key
that?
West is calling, Jeff.
Oh, that wasn't me. Mine is on
They want to
silent.
tell you how bad your idea is. Well, thank you all for joining us this week, as always. And a special shout out to our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/DVCfan. You get to enjoy so many hilarious moments that this crew talks about and puts together. But we are here to discuss a little bit of DVC and Disney news, kind of our wrap up for the month of August 2024. And nothing too earth shattering, as much as many of you are hoping that I'm going to announce the point charts for the Polynesian Tower right now. There is nothing that exciting that has really happened outside of the D23 convention, and we did a 2-hour marathon live stream the day after that was done. And if you have not watched that or listened to it, it is up on our DVC Fan YouTube channel, as well as up on the podcast as well. You do kind of want to watch that episode because we show a lot of pictures, and you want to see the pictures, and you want to see all the concept art and all of kind of the fun stuff that has come out of D23. But we thought there is a couple pieces of Disney Vacation Club news to chat through as a new month is upon us. So we'll talk about it and let you know what we think. This and all of our DVC fan content is always brought to you by the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract, they can help. Monera Financial, who will assist with financing that DVC resale contract purchase. And the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points, or rent out your points for some cash. And I think I am going to let us start where we left off after our marathon D23 show, and just kind of ask you guys, now that we've had a little bit of time to kind of digest, any new thoughts on any of the Walt Disney World or Disneyland announcements? I know that the interwebs have quite a few thoughts on some of those announcements.
So many thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to let Jeff speak, so when he does, I want everyone to pull their car over to the side of the road. Anyone that has their morning cup of coffee when the show airs every single Monday, just set that cup of coffee down because it might get quite animated.
Well, and just to bring everyone up to speed before we let Jeff go off the rails, or, well, you might go off the rails if you listen to him while you're driving. So that's why we want you to pull over. But quick little update. So the Cars themed attractions that are coming to Frontierland have been confirmed to be taking over Tom Sawyer Island and
Rivers of America.
And the Rivers of America. So both of those.
And the Liberty Bell will be.
And the Liberty Bell will be no more.
Which I think we need to stop calling it a river because that makes it feel more serious. It's like 2 feet of nothing.
Yeah, you don't, no diving or jumping into that. You could probably just stand up and walk. I think, well, no, there was the one random person that recently did try to swim through it. So don't do that. That's not advisable. But we did get confirmation that those will be going away, and that entire section of the park will kind of be transformed into these new Cars Land attractions. And it's, I will say it's like 70-30 on the internet. I think, good 75% of people understand that this is a very underutilized area, and it's sad to see it go, especially the boat. But when's the, like we discussed in our group, when's the last time any of us have either been on the boat or been on Tom Sawyer Island?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I went to Tom Sawyer's Island about 2 months ago. I told Panda this the other day, just because I hadn't been in 20 years. And I was like, I'm here by myself. I'm going to pop over there. I was there for like 16 minutes, and then I was back on dry land, so to speak. So, yeah, it's I know I got to be careful because the villagers will come for me.
Let them come.
Hey,
Let them come.
If I could just say just a few words before Jeff has his thoughts, which are really great thoughts. I just want to say, first and foremost, the more time that I've had to think about it, no matter what you're excited about, not excited about, it's the fact that we actually had news is so exciting. It's the fact that there's concrete stuff. So whether you're a fan of this franchise or not a fan of this franchise or whatever it is, it's the fact that I've had so many new members that said, wow, we just watched the news. We just watched your show. And Derek, we are so excited that we just became Disney Vacation Club members just because of all this new stuff that's coming that we know that as a Disney Vacation Club member, we're going to get to experience. So that's what I want to stress first and foremost. They don't have to do anything. They don't legally have to, build new attractions. They don't. But it's this quote that I saw when it comes to, obviously, I think there's two heated things that I know we'll talk about. It's, where's the Monsters, Inc. land going to go? And then, of course, the cars going over the Tom Sawyer. As I sent this to our group, because we have a in-group chat, and someone posted, which I thought was great. They said, remember that Disney's development and innovation is not designed to please millennials and Gen Xers. They are designing experience for our youth to spark their magic. That was Walt's vision, not a river around an island based on a novel from 1876. Let the Imagineers cook. And I thought that was a perfect way to phrase it up.
Let them
Well,
cook.
and that's kind of where I'm at. And I went way down the internet rabbit hole, and I know better, right? But here's my thing, okay? Disney announces these things, and if I were them, I would just stop. I would just stop putting this news out ahead of time, and just suddenly we've got construction walls. People are going to be like trying to climb over the top and see what's happening, and then they're going to take down the walls and say, hey, look what we did. Because they're not asking for permission anyway. This is not our company, right? This is not a family-owned company anymore. It hasn't been since the 50s. This is a company that has shareholders, that has profit margins and bottom lines to think about. And we all think we have some ownership in this. And some of the Disney fans, whom I love and who I'm one of, need to calm down a little bit here. Because I see people going to cancel their annual passes. They're selling their DVC points. They're going to chain themselves to the riverboat. Folks, at the end of the day, it's a theme park. I understand. Like, we are all passionate about Disney, and we all have our memories, and we all have our things that we love. And I was sad to see Splash Mountain go. But there's a difference between being sad and being angry, okay? And angry isn't going to do anybody, including yourself, any good.
Yeah.
And like Derek said, let's wait and see before we light the place on fire. Because I have a lot of faith in Disney Imagineering. Very rarely have they disappointed me over my lifetime. There's been some misses. With everything, nothing's ever 100%. But overall, there's a reason they are famous for what they do. They typically do a good job. I'm looking at this concept art. I'm seeing mountains with snow on it. I'm seeing, new view lines that are going to give a whole new generation of people a different kind of love for Frontierland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's Island, nobody goes there. And there's a great back and forth on Twitter with one of the Imagineers that were answering some questions about this. And they're saying, this isn't just because, hey, we woke up one morning and thought, let's put cars in Frontierland. No, there's problems with Tom Sawyer Island that they can't repair because they don't have a way to get construction equipment there. There's problems with the canal itself and how it drains. And we've seen that lately with the sewage backing up. It's too expensive for them to fix what needs to be fixed just to keep part of the park that isn't working for, I'm spitballing here, but I'm guessing 90% of the people that walk into Magic Kingdom. Yeah. So everybody, let's pump the brakes. Don't sell your DVC points yet. Don't let your annual passes go. If it opens and you still hate it, that's okay. We still love you. But let's wait and see, because I think people are going to be excited about what ultimately ends up.
Well, and here's what I love about the concept more than anything is that it is not an exact clone. Like, they could have very easily given us an exact clone of what Cars Land is out in California and called it a day, and it would have done its job. It would have brought people to the parks. It would have gotten people excited. Cars is one of the biggest franchises that Disney and Pixar have ever created.
And Cars Land in DCA is one of the best themed areas. So I can't imagine now we're getting a new Cars themed area, you know, something different, but still that same theming. I really hope that regardless of what it is, that they maybe like do more Halloween decor back there, like they do with the current Cars Land. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the permits are filed. Things are moving. This is actually happening. So, I mean, if you want to explore Tom Sawyer's Island, if you want to have one last trip on the Liberty Bell,
or your first trip, we've not been there. We've never been there. I need to go. I feel stupid saying that I've never been there.
I was saying this to someone the other day. I feel like I went as a young child, but again, it wasn't a memorable experience for me. And that is exactly the feedback that Disney is getting. And that is exactly why they are making these changes. Now, Panda, you sent something through in our group chat also that kind of hinted that there are some bigger problems related to kind of the actual rivers of America itself that also might be dictating this.
I think Jeff just said it. The sewage issues, I think, has to do with a lot of that. And I think that'll solve that. But just if I look at that concept art, just that ride looks really exciting. I just love all the different levels and ins and outs. I don't know how anybody could look at the right-hand side. There's a car going up that little mountain there. There's waterfalls and stuff. It doesn't look like they're phoning this in. It looks like this is going to be major. And how could anybody look at this and say, nah, I'd rather take the raft over to Tom Sawyer Island than go on this amazing thing?
They'd rather play checkers.
I saw some comments too. I saw some comments too of things like, it's going to be so weird to have a mountain blocking that view. Well, it's not going to block anything. There's nothing behind Tom Sawyer's Island. You can't see Haunted Mansion from the Country Bears anyway, right? Unless you like peek around the corner like this, you know, like Disneyland Paris, their Big Thunder is out in the middle of that river where our Tom Sawyer's Island is. It's a huge mountain out in the middle. It works just fine. Let the Imagineers do their thing. And on top of that, like, I don't know. I just think I have a love-hate relationship right now with the Disney internet, because anytime Disney announces anything, it's equal parts anger and excitement. And the people that are angry sometimes might be taking their life a little too seriously. I see comments,
and they're always louder. They're always louder.
And I see comments like, well, Cars isn't going to fit in with the theme of Frontierland. Well, I just went and rewatched Cars 3 because it's been a while since I watched it, and I kind of wanted a refresher. And their whole thing about going through the mountains and the trails, it's going to work just fine. And I got news for you. It's not real. This is a fantasy world. You really, I know this is going to shock some people, but you can't literally walk from Mexico to Norway. You do it every week. You know what I mean? So
I've not even published this show yet, and someone just unsubscribed.
Well, and I'm sorry. I'm a little fired up. We're trying to make fantasy real, and this is a theme park.
Yeah.
And Panda, let's just go and enjoy the theme park.
Panda, you had shared something in our group chat too that goes along this perfectly. You don't obviously have to say, you know, who said it, but you had someone saying that exact same thing to you. Like, I don't understand. The cars have eyes. It just doesn't fit in with the realistic. You
There's no humans. There's no humans in the Cars movie.
But tell everyone what your response to that was, which I love.
So Jeff channeled into my body, and my fingers started to type, and I didn't even know. I just knew it was Jeff typing, and he wrote. After this guy said, but the cars are not around people and they don't have eyes. And, you know, what is all this? I wrote, but you've come to terms with being hugged by a 5-foot mouse. Like, come on. We've suspended our belief so much. It's okay.
Yeah. And I think it was was it the same set of comments that you guys sent over that also indicated thoughts of the future beyond this as well, which is that if we do this, if we create these Cars rides over in Frontierland, it then and this, again, blasphemous to some people, it makes sense then to get rid of Autopia, and it frees up the land over in Autopia for something else that makes sense over in Futureland. Wally Coaster, thank you very much.
Yes.
But
Paul,
forward
it goes
thinking.
exactly to what we're all saying. The day that they announced that Autotopia and the stinky gasoline loud rides going away, you'll hear many of the same people that are outraged about it. How dare they get rid of it? It was one of the original attractions. Because again, it all comes down to that thing, which makes me crazy too, is like Disney fans, and me included, always want new. What's new? Universal's coming right down the street. They're building a whole new park with 5 different lands. Disney literally comes out and says, listen, y'all knew about Dino Land. You knew about, Beyond Big Thunder, but here's some stuff that you didn't even have a clue about. And they throw it. And like Jeff said, people are angry about it, which is nuts to me.
Well, and one more thing, and then I'm going to shut up for the rest of this entire show. But
No.
if I read one more internet comment that says Walt would have hated this, I'm going to lose my mind. Because first of all, nobody knows what Walt would have liked. But I will say this, I've read pretty much every book and seen every documentary that's ever been created on the dude. And he was all about innovation and trying things that's new. The 5 of us in this room, I feel like we could say pretty comfortably, if he had an idea and wanted to tear down Disneyland altogether and start over, he would have, because that's what he wanted. He wanted what's next. He didn't want what's now or what was before. You know what I mean? So nobody knows what Walt wants. He's gone. God rest his soul. The company's under new management. It is what it is. If you're that angry about a theme park, you probably need maybe to take a break.
I heard they're going to have...
Let me just give you this quick thought. Right now, kids walk in, let's say, for kids, I think of my nieces and nephews. They look at Tom Sawyer Island, they look at the boat, they smile. When you see this mountain and this Cars ride, there's going to be so much more excitement around this. I could just see my niece and nephew be like, oh my God! Like, come on, just let's let it go.
Good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were upset about the view, like, oh, we're losing this view of this river. But this new attraction is going to have like waterfalls and water. There's going to be water. And Magic Kingdom is not a nature preserve. If you want to view, there's a lot of places you can travel to get that. This is an entertainment venue. So,
yep.
And it's not a museum. That's my other thing is Disneyland, Disney World, Magic Kingdom. It's not a museum. We don't have to keep every single thing that Walt ever touched. We have archives for that. Let's get some. Okay, I'm done. I promise.
Well, we've not even gotten to the most controversial aspect of all of this, which it is starting to emerge that the Monsters Inc. land that is coming to Hollywood Studios may or may not be taking over some space near Muppets.
So Panda said something earlier, and this is what I've been thinking the whole time, is that, they haven't even decided yet where this is going, is what I think. And go back to that other photo really quickly. Everyone's analyzing these pictures and they're like, oh, what's this and what's that? And look what's in the back. Okay, I swear I see Spaceship Earth twice.
It does look like that.
Technically speaking, if you really start to count, like there's one to the left of the giant building, way back there. There's like 2 small ones behind some buildings.
They're just messing with you guys. Like, you don't know what
I think they are.
This is. There's like 4 Spaceship Earth balls. And then they're just trying to see how you react. Yes, I said it. I know.
They're changing the name also. That was announced at D23. Spaceship Earth balls. But again, some uproar from people that do love the Muppets franchise. Again, Muppet Vision is one of the last shows that I believe was directed by Jim Henson. So it was kind of his last hurrah in the Muppet space. So it means something special to some people. They just replaced the seats, though. Does it make sense that they're going to tear this out? I don't think it's going.
I think it's going to be like Launch Bay area, or what I mean, that kind of area.
Right.
That area is
unlike Rivers and the boat, I can argue to try to keep Muppets. I mean, I'll be good either way, but I can argue that Muppets should stay for a reason and blah blah blah.
Or something Muppets. Like the show's shown its age. We went 2 weeks ago, And I mean, it's great. I love the Muppets too. Like, and I laugh every single time. But remember how I said I wasn't going to talk the rest of the show? Yeah, I totally lied. I would like to see a new Muppets, like something refreshed, maybe in that space. But the Muppets deserve a space to be, and I would be sad if it went away.
Yes.
Also, do you know if it goes there, Mama Melrose is also on the chopping block, and so is Pizza Rizzo. So I'm like, doesn't it really? It doesn't seem to make
Royal
sense.
Flush, the best toilet in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Did you guys see in the one art that it looks like maybe we're getting the sushi restaurant from?
It did look like that. Yeah. Harryhausen's. It's on the left there of this picture, so I think it's like cut out.
Bringing it over.
Here it comes.
Oh yeah, there's the eye right there.
Yeah, there's the chopsticks with the eyeball.
That's I know Epcot can do it, but I don't have faith that Hollywood Studios can do good theme park sushi.
Well, we don't know if it's going to be just like
I'm a little concerned.
a fake storefront or actually a restaurant, but we'll find out.
Is that a playground with a slide on the left?
Yeah, it looks like a slide. I mean, all in all, you're never going to make everyone happy with some of these announcements. You're never going to please every audience. I think Disney has done its fair share of due diligence to kind of make the decision on these. And again, all I'm going to say is like, don't cost us a door coaster over this. Like that thing.
That's all I want.
That is all we care about.
It's coming. It's coming.
The thought of riding that is absolutely amazing. And this has been something that's been rumored and talked about for so many years. So, it may hurt wherever they put this, but And
ever since this announcement, that dang on door hoodie from Roosevelt's keeps coming up on my ads, and I keep wanting it, but then I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's so expensive.
I would beg to disagree, Paul, that it's not going to hurt wherever they put it, because there's no one, like I said earlier, is going to be outraged when the launch pad or launch getaway or gift shop or Wookiee meet and greet area is going away. No one's going to lose their mind because launch bay is going away. Not one person.
I agree.
If they want to
like two people.
If all the Star Wars fans out there, you got Galaxy's Edge. So go get your fix. Go shake a Wookiee. Go take a picture.
That's Derek at dvcresalemarket.com.
Go shake a Wookiee.
He's getting that T-shirt for sure. Go shake a Wookiee.
Grab a thirsty alligator. Go shake a Wookiee, and you've got a vacation right there.
Oh my! Well, on that lovely note, I think we are going to move on from D23. We've kind of discussed this to death at this point and talked all the things that we can talk about. There is going to be so much more news and information that comes out in the coming weeks and months, and we'll make sure we share that with you as well. Moving to DVC, we touched on this a little bit in the live stream, but I wanted to bring it up here as kind of part of our conversation. But we did receive some new concept art related to the Island Tower that is coming to the Disney's Polynesian Villas. This did come out of D23. It was showcased at the Disney Vacation Club booth, so you could actually go there. They had a lot of Polynesian stuff on display. The two resorts that seemed they were very heavily emphasizing were the Disneyland Hotel and the Polynesian Villas. They didn't seem to care.
For Fort Wilderness.
Very little for Fort Wilderness, very little for Aulani, and very little for Riviera, sadly. They were featured on, I guess, this little sticker booklet that they were handing out at the event as well. But we knew that there was a restaurant that was going to come, and we did get some concept art for what this restaurant looks like a little bit. To me, this looks like a beautiful space, Polynesian inspired. This screams Aulani to me.
Yeah,
I
love
me
it.
too. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of gives those vibes, not overly, from the concept art we've seen so far, not overly showcasing anything in terms of like character elements or anything within the restaurant. There's another small shot that actually off to the left here, you can see that there is going to kind of be a bar/lounge area there as well. The question a lot of people have from this is whether or not there's going to be any access from the pool to that bar and lounge. My guess is no, because this does look like a little bit more of an upscale style restaurant. But again, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know, is there going to be other kind of food or drink options here
Yeah,
as
maybe
well.
a pool bar.
There could be a pool
or-
bar or a grab and go area
Right.
or something that does provide those. So again, just a nice little tidbit that
Looks
they
nice.
offered for the Polynesian.
I love it. I love, Paul and guys, that every new picture that they show, I love that resort more and more. Just because I know some people get upset about it and say it doesn't match the theme. You know what? If you want the original, how great is it? It's right next door. So if you want that, if you want to go to, Ohana and you want the dark woods and the tiki and all that stuff, I love that right next door is this. So I'm thrilled with it. I love it.
Yeah, it's exactly what they did with Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek. Like Copper Creek gives you more of that contemporary vibe to it, but also that rustic feel, where Boulder Ridge, even after the refurbishment, it gives you that
It's still a little more rustic.
rustic camping in the woods kind of style to it. So the last piece of concept art that we also got from that was the confirmation that there will be a Moana themed splash pad or kids play area. This kind of screams Disneyland Hotel, very similar to the Steamboat Willie water play area that is part of the Disneyland Hotel Tower over there. We've got Moana on her boat, kind of wayfinding. We've got some water and stuff like that. So this will be part of the pool area there at the Polynesian, and that's something that we hadn't learned about previously. So
Yeah, and based on the splash pad they just did at Disneyland Hotel, the DVC area, I expect this to have some really cool lighting in the evening, just like the Steamboat Willie one does. I bet it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, and so still,
and there was a lot of complaints about the pool once we got, how small the pool is going to be. I don't think we knew about this splash pad at all until D23, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So the fact that they're giving us this, I think, really adds to that area. I think it's just going to add just a lot of character, and like Amy said, the lights, and I know I'm really excited about this hotel.
Obviously, too, we think, even though they haven't said anything yet, but obviously guests staying at either will be able to pool hop at either resort, right?
Yeah,
of course.
That would be our guess, because you can do that with Disneyland Hotel and their new pool.
And there's
if you're staying at the hotel.
No way that I could see that they could police it otherwise. So if you're staying at the Polynesian, you're going to have access to this pool and these features as well. So,
but that's the other thing. Like the Polynesian will have 2 other swimming pools as well, that you can go to if you're staying in the tower. And the Moana splash pad, pool isn't your thing. You've got 2 other options.
We're about a half a month removed from this next news, which is also Polynesian Villas related, but they did declare the first set of rooms into the existing Polynesian Association for the new tower. And so this is a declaration of 40 rooms, which includes 9 duo studios, 14 deluxe studios, 4 one-bedrooms, 10 two-bedroom lock-offs, 1 two-bedroom dedicated villa, and 2 two-bedroom penthouse villas. And for those unfamiliar with how these declarations are, they basically have to declare points into the condo association to then be able to sell them. So all of the existing points within the existing association have been purchased by other members like ourselves who own 175 points, I think, at Polynesian. But as part of adding, and I want to emphasize this, adding the Polynesian Tower to this, they have to declare more availability, and that's exactly what they've done. So this is kind of the thing that is, we've been waiting for this announcement for a long period of time. It means that sales are imminent. It means that information related to point-related bookings are imminent. But when I say that, we've seen this take anywhere from 15 to 45 days after a declaration has been made for those things to occur. So
I know when it's going to happen.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna happen when we're in Europe.
No,
or on a plane, on a plane to Spain.
We
guarantee. I'm not even going to throw the date out there.
Paul,
but it's going to happen. That's when it's going to happen.
Paul, we are getting closer to finding out if it's part of the existing association or a new association.
Oh my god.
It absolutely is amazing that even when we issued this, there were still doubters and still people arguing the point. And I don't sit here as a rando off the street that's doing DVC for the first time. We study this stuff. We know how it works. There are legal actions that are required. And so if this went into something that said the Island Tower at the Polynesian and it was a different association, then we might have something different to talk about. But this was a amendment to the existing association. These points are going into that association. This is going to be part of the Polynesian. Hip hip hooray! We should rejoice in the streets. And end of the conversation. But I know that some of you will not believe it until you can book with it or anything like that. So just wait for that day, but it'll come eventually. But to your point as to where we will be when this news drops, Disboards this past week, they were having a fun little time with the fact that this declaration happened actually while Jeff, Amy, and I were on our Bermuda cruise, and someone on there said, Is it funny that anytime Paul Krieger is on a cruise, big news drops? Should we just all pay for him to be on cruise? If you guys want to pay for me to be on cruises 24/7, I will gladly just report and do my job from a ship. That'll be fine by me. Derek, I think you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just kind of curious because you had mentioned that that it's usually 15 to 45 days before they announce. But that just means when they announce that, say they'll go on sale, correct? So they could announce, say, this week and say, hey, for members, these points will go on sale October 1st.
Exactly.
Or, okay.
Right. Yep. And again, look at where a lot of people have asked us. A lot of people keep questioning, when is this going to occur? When are points going to go on sale? And we have, the information here that we know the time frame is imminent now. We know it's coming. We also know that September 30th is when the current set of incentives for direct sales expire. So those expire on September 30th. Yep. We also know that October 1st is day one of fiscal year 2025 for the Walt Disney Company. All of those things aligning, I think that Disney Vacation Club is probably looking at this as being a big win for the end of the 2024 fiscal year and a big win for the beginning of the 2025 fiscal year. So I think that we will hear sometime probably in August when these points go on sale for members and when members that own at the Polynesian can begin booking, and we'll get a time frame as to when any other member can also book. But we will get that information here in August, and I imagine that will happen sometime in September for members that want to add on at the Polynesian and want to purchase that way. And then I think that they're going to push new member sales probably as close to that October 1st date as possible. So any new first-time Disney Vacation Club member that wants to purchase at that resort. But keep in mind, existing association, same association, you could buy a resale contract too and save yourself some time if you really got that money and it's burning a hole in your pocket. So, that's an option, and there are plenty of options out there because resale owners will be able to use their points at the Polynesian. Polynesian owners will have that 7 to 11 month window at both the Island Tower and the existing Polynesian villas. So,
and Paul, just to kind of let you know that I think we even talked about it a while ago when we were flying through all the Polynesian points and they were going for like all-time high prices. And there were days where literally we had 1 or even 0. So we've been lucky to have a lot of sellers kind of say, hey, you know what? This is a great market right now. For folks out there looking to buy the Polynesian or add on, now's the perfect time. Just because Paul just published the ROFR report that we think ROFR is going to dip down for the Poly a little bit. Right now, at the dvcresalemarket.com, you got about 90 different Polynesian listings to be able to pick and choose from. Wow. So I guarantee you get some Poly points, hang out at that pool, hang out at that splash pad and tell them what you bought your points for at the DVC resale market versus someone that bought them direct for like $250. So
just to clarify, because that number came out with you freezing as like 990. It was 90, right?
Yeah.
90. Yes, okay, 90.
Just wanted to clarify because you had a moment. But yeah, so I mean, it's coming. I think the answer to everyone's questions is on the horizon, and we just gotta kind of sit back and wait and wait for that announcement. And it'll probably drop while we are somewhere. I'm expecting. We're recording this on a Wednesday. I'm actually Amy and I leave tomorrow for Vero Beach for a long weekend, and it could very much drop tomorrow while we're driving all over the place. So,
What's going to happen is they're going to announce it at this quarterly condo association.
That's what I was thinking too.
Meeting while I'm there and you guys are off flitting around Europe, and I'm going to have to figure out how to work WordPress while you're gone.
Hey, nice segue. We'll work WordPress for you. Don't worry. I just need you to cover and report back. But nice segue there. Perfect into also the most recent news that has come out about Disney Vacation Club is that as part of new legislation put forth in the state of Florida related to timeshares, the condo associations now have to report and have a quarterly meeting. So Disney Vacation Club actually put up on their website earlier today as we're filming this, or 3 or 4 days ago as you are listening to this, that they will start to host quarterly meetings. We don't know necessarily what that means in terms of will they be in-person meetings, will they be Zoom or virtual meetings, but the first set of quarterly meetings will be scheduled for September 26th, 2024. And information on signing up for those will be coming in the near future. Now, for those of us that are used to going to the December Condo Association meeting, that historically has been a pretty big deal. Like, that's been a big event. They typically talk about refurbishment schedules. They'll maybe highlight some things that have happened in the Disney Vacation Club space over that year. We've even learned about new projects or new initiatives at past meetings. So Disney Vacation Club did clarify that they are still going to host that event. This year, that event, I do believe, is on December 12th. And it will basically be a member-focused event in which they will take questions from members. You'll have the opportunity to kind of engage with the Disney leaders and the DVC leadership and enjoy some cookies, because that's always been one of the big highlights of these association meetings. And then also the actual meetings will take place on December 10th and 11th surrounding that date. So September 10th, 11th, 12th, they're going to be some pretty big DVC days down here. And keep in mind, this is just a law that relates to the Florida properties. One thing I did notice in the announcement was that this does not pertain to the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. And my mind has to go to the Palmetto Trust there and how that is kind of rolled into that. So owners at that resort will not necessarily have these quarterly meetings and have to have those kind of quarterly meetings. But we've tapped Jeff Haslam to head to the first one ever. And even if the Polynesian news has been announced at that point, we've asked him to please ask yet again if the Polynesian will be the same association or not, even though it will. We know it is, and it will have been announced by that point. So
maybe the reason that the Fort Wilderness isn't included in that is because they haven't sold any. There's nothing to talk about.
They did sell one. They sold one.
They could literally have their own meeting with like Ron and Cheryl and Frank and Tammy. Hey guys, you guys are the only owners we got. So got any questions?
Speaking of Fort Wilderness, real quick, Panda, you just did your first stay there.
The cabin.
How did it go?
I liked it a lot. I mean, it was a very different Disney vacation, getting on a golf cart and going through, but it was adventure. It was nice.
Yeah.
I think the cabin is only good for more than 2 people if you're very close to the other people you've got with you. I don't think you can do it with like friends. It's kind of, you got to cross over there sleeping to get to the bathroom. But if you're with close people, it's beautiful. It's clean. It's nice. I enjoy it. I'll go back. Definitely.
Yeah. We really enjoyed it too. I think that I feel like these new quarterly meetings, there's something they just have to do. So they're going to save most of the excitement for December. That's probably the one they really want you to go to. They probably don't really. I imagine the September ones are going to be more boring.
I think the September ones will definitely be more boring. And the question is, will they go to the same mindset that they've had previously, which is that legally speaking in these meetings, they have a board of directors meeting that you're actually present for if you go to if you've gone to the historic December meetings. They have a board of directives, I can't talk, meeting. it's basically a dog and pony show. They all sit on stage, they say a couple things, they approve, done deal. They approve themselves as leadership of the association for another year. And you vetoed all of your rights when you signed your contract related to this. They have those decisions. They can make those decisions. And that part of the meeting takes about 5 minutes. Then they kind of have a larger presentation portion, to your point, which I hope now becomes the bulk of the meeting, or the bulk of the new thing. I said in my article, I want this to become almost like a DVC D23, where it's like, here's the world of Disney Vacation Club, and
here's what you have to look forward to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now the $1 million question is what they do with the question and answer portion, because the Q&A portion, that's when you have some fun if you're just there listening, because there are people that have owned for a while that are unhappy with the direction of DVC, or there are people that still don't understand how their old Key West points work, and they're very vocal about it. But DVC has, in the past, taken the direction of, we are here to answer questions related to the budget. And if you ask any question that is not related to the budget, they will say, I'm sorry, this is a question and answer session related to questions about the budget. And so they, in recent years, they've directed people to a new form that they have on the Disney Vacation Club website, in which you can kind of leave some guest feedback if you do have specific feedback related to the program as it exists. So will they open this up for some more member questions? I think that'll be interesting. It'll definitely make it spicy and exciting, and Jeff's going to have a great time in September if they do. So we can only hope. So staying on Disney Vacation Club for a minute, the temporary Epcot lounge closure has been extended indefinitely at this point. So we do know that the Epcot lounge went down back in May, June.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And they took it offline to do some work. We've heard that a large part of this work is related to the elevator space there. We don't know if they're actually doing anything upstairs. Very little information has been provided about this. They did, for a brief period of time, utilize the Odyssey Pavilion as a Disney Vacation Club lounge space. Panda, I think you went and visited that once. Or
I did.
Oh, Derek, was it you that went?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We both went. We went on separate times, and I went after Panda went, and I couldn't be less overwhelmed, if that's a word, in my whole entire life. It literally was. They had like a guy manning a tiny cooler of tiny bottles of water and tiny Sprites with like a holster, and one of them.
Did he write down what you took? Because that freaked me out. Like, a Diet Coke?
They write down like what you took, and I was like, it's not relaxing. It's not. You could tell it's obviously temporary, and so to see that the main lounge has been down for months and months and months is what we always tell people. Like, listen, if you're buying a direct membership because you have access to lounges, don't count on it, because that thing above Journey into Imagination, they could choose to never open it again, and you can't do anything about it. So yeah, I don't know.
And it's surprising to me that they took this down during midsummer. If there's ever a time to actually take this down,
I think they were trying to take it down while the Odyssey building was not in use, so that they could have that temporary space. And now they're using Odyssey. It's going to be the brewing lab, so they're probably for the wine.
So actually, back at the end of July, it was right around when we did DVC Summerfest at Saratoga Springs. We expected to be able to go to the new lounge that day and kind of be able to report back as to whether anything of note has changed. But it was extended at that point, but the Odyssey Lounge then closed because it did have to be switched over to the brewing Muppets experience that they're bringing back for food and wine.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but I don't know if it's going to be Muppets. I didn't see that on the...
It'll be Muppets, especially after the Muppet uproar that's going on right now.
We'll see.
Someone's pushing a button to emergently add Muppets if it's not there already. So.
Yeah. It's going to be a Monsters Inc. food lab, and people are going to lose their food.
They should just make it a Tom Sawyer themed food lab.
Too soon.
I'm in a bad mood.
You know what is funny? The minute they get rid of Rivers of America and the Riverboat and Tom Sawyer, there's going to be so much merch that comes out. They do it all the time. There'll be like a Tom Sawyer Funko. There'll be a Liberty Bell popcorn bucket. Trust me.
How long till you see bottles of Rivers of America water on eBay?
Yes.
I bet you if you check now. Hold on. I'm going to check. I'll be right back.
Someone posted that on DVC Fan, and I thought it was the most
they did? I didn't see that.
They did, yeah. I actually responded. I said, these points aren't going to pay for themselves. Like, we need to go find some bottles, Paul.
All right. No water yet. No water yet.
Well, and I think it is good though that Disney has made some acknowledgments to the fact that and let people know that these areas are closing. Like it could be, we're filming this on a Wednesday. This will go up on a Monday. They could have already answered our questions related to Monsters Inc. by the time this goes up. And I think Disney's being a little bit better about kind of saying, hey, we know you love this space. We're going to give you a little last time to love it. Similar to what they're doing with Dinosaur. They're kind of saying, we know you guys love Dinosaur, but we also know that you guys understand that half of it or 75% of it is just pure darkness because it's broken right now. So we're gonna give you a few more months. We're gonna give you a little more time. Love it, enjoy it. Let us make all of the money for the new land off of the merch we're gonna sell because you're sad about it going, and then we'll go ahead and start with our construction.
Do you think the mythical creature Indiana Jones is looking for is a Carnotaurus?
100%. Or and that has been talked about online somewhat, which is that they always had the mythical dragon or something as part of the Animal Kingdom logo.
Mm-hmm. It's on the gate. Those
on
gates.
The gate.
Yeah.
So if you ever want a time to make the logo make sense, make it a dragon.
Except now the dinosaurs are going away, so that won't be on the logo anymore. But
Pandora kind of takes care of the dragon.
Yeah.
I just need an animatronic Harrison Ford to say somewhere during the ride, "That's not our dino." That's all I want.
That would be good.
Oh yeah, they've got to throw some Easter eggs in there. It would be a missed opportunity if they didn't. So
this goes back to what I said at the beginning and the realism thing, right? I saw a comment online about Indiana Jones and the mythical creature thing, and they're like, "That doesn't fit the thing. He's an archaeologist," and I'm like, "An archaeologist that went in search of aliens, folks. Like, can we please put the pause button on the realism?" You didn't really go back in time to see the dinosaurs either. I promise. Didn't happen.
I like how this show started with Angry Jeff, then we got away from him, and now it's back.
Almost come full circle.
Circle of life.
I will end on one last final thing, which is a rumor we posted not too long ago, which is Reflections being revived, and are we going to see something coming to the Reflections space in the near future?
I love watching Derek put his glasses on so he can see it.
There have been some permits that have recently been filed related to Reflections, related to actually previous permits that were issued back when Reflections was originally being constructed. These are basically duplicates of some of those permits, and not renewals. They are new permits, but they kind of duplicate a lot of the things that we saw. They're utilizing the same construction companies. So I putting things together along with some rumors that we've heard that there might have been a slip up or two by some DVC people on the most recent member cruise in mentioning Reflections. Kind of have to, at this point, strongly feel that Reflections is coming back. And we talked about this a little bit, I think, on our D23 Rumors show. I kind of said at that point that I thought we would maybe get some sort of DVC announcement. And I would go and say that probably the reason we did not is because they still just want to generate excitement for the existing properties, maybe for a little while longer. Mm-hmm. Would you guys agree with that?
Well, if you didn't say it enough, let me say it again. Rumors. It's a rumor, but
yes,
it's still, there's a lot of information out there that is pointing us in the direction of
by the time we say the word
something's gonna occur.
By the time we say the word rumor, we're pretty sure. We've vetted it a couple different ways from Sunday, but.
And I think you maybe said it, Paul, or someone did. Someone very, very smart did. It was not me. Said they could totally see it being tied in with somehow with the cabins. So if this way, if when you buy Reflections, then you also buy the cabin. So that way it's going to help, spur the sales for the cabins, because people have their choice of, okay, do I want to stay in a cabin? It's still going to be my one home resort. I mean, that's what I see them doing, or else I cannot see them having two separate resorts, having all the cabins and then having a huge resort right next door with your traditional DVC units. I just can't see that happening. I think if they can somehow combine them into one, it just makes it so much of an easier sale.
Well, and in prepping for this article, and also I had an article basically prepped announcing Reflections, thinking it was potentially going to be announced at D23. I did pull up some older concept art for those cabins, and tell me those don't look so much like the cabins at Fort Wilderness. Yeah. So these were basically some of the cabins that were going to line the lake out there as part of the Reflection space. And
I like this.
They look so much like the Fort Wilderness cabins in concept, just kind of similar architecture and roof.
Why do some people get a balcony and some don't?
Yeah. And you can barely see the wheels on them, unlike the other ones.
How come the people to the left didn't get a balcony? What happened?
Think maybe that's all one cabin. Maybe not.
It's like other concept art where they put in 4 Spaceship Earth balls.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of
AI at its best.
Maybe
I've never even seen that picture. Where did you find that? That's awesome.
This is previous concept art for that space. So there were multiple pieces of concept art that were previously released. This was Tiana's restaurant that was going to be part of Reflections. So I apologize for audio listeners, but we are showing a couple images of what this previously looked like. We had photos of what the main grand lobby was going to look like with the Pocahontas statue.
Oh, the colors of the wind.
And coming back to this, so much of this was drawn out. So much of this was thought up. And similar to the door coaster that they've been talking about for 10 to 20 years, this was so far along that I can't see them getting rid of it at this point. Right. I think that I originally was of the opinion that we might see a brand new concept come to that space, but I think they've Imagineered this too much at this point. They did too much underground construction, so a lot of the sewage.
It might be a name change though.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to be very similar. It could be the Fort Wilderness Lodge for all we know, but I like the concept art. I'm kind of hoping it all comes together.
This is older concept art that we are showing at this point, based off of when Reflections was previously announced.
Pre-pandemic concept art.
Let me ask a question that might be stupid, but I honestly don't know the answer. You talked about if they looped this in with the Fort Wilderness the cabins at Fort Wilderness Association, would that, because you're adding so many more points and so many more rooms, if it's a full, giant building, would that help the dues situation with those cabins, like bring those down into like a normal stratosphere of
on various boards?
Like a no-brainer to me.
On various boards and on various discussion groups, there is that conversation of how the problem of the cabins not selling because of the high dues would be alleviated by bringing all of these points in as part of this. And it would bring those dues down and bring everything to kind of an equilibrium point. So this kind of fixes that problem in general. My question. Go ahead,
Paul. No. I was just going to say, plus for them, it just relieves this feeling of so many people not even knowing where the heck the cabins are. So for people that are going to stay, let's say at Reflections, they're there. It's going to be part of the same complex, right? So they might wander over and go see Hoop to Do. They might come across these cabins. And what it makes them say is, oh, God, you know what? I think on the next trip, I think I want to come back and maybe try one of those cabins. So I think it just helps them in so many different ways.
Yeah. One thing that I was looking up real quick just to kind of get the numbers on was, so the original concept of Reflections was that this property had 900 rooms, and it was partitioned between both just cash, a regular Disney resort, and a Disney Vacation Club property. So kind of a half and half property. But I don't know that there's any Disney Vacation Club resort that is that massive. So it's going to be a question as to whether they kind of use it as this multi-use property, or do they make it all Disney Vacation Club rooms?
Yeah.
That'll be kind of the $1 million question ultimately. I was trying to pull up real quick. I don't remember how many rooms Riviera has. I want to say somewhere around 600 or so, and that's a pretty large Disney Vacation Club property as a standalone. So it'll remain to be seen as to what happens out there. Again, full rumor at this point. I kind of feel that since they are starting construction, maybe at one of these quarterly meetings or at that December meeting, we do learn something about the future of this property. If they do just want to bring back Reflections, I feel like that makes more sense to just happen maybe at that December meeting and sort of say, we're excited to announce that we've restarted work on Reflections at Disney Lakeside Lodge. I think that's its full name. I don't remember. But
should really just call it Lakeside Lodge. That sounds so much nicer.
yeah,
It does.
they were reaching too far with Reflections. It was just
Lakeside, Disney's Lakeside Lodge. That's pretty.
Disney's Riviera Resort.
Yeah.
It will be Disney's Palmetto Resort at Fort Wilderness.
Don't give them an idea. They'll replace the
Palmetto Trust Estates.
They'll replace the Pocahontas statue with a giant palmetto bug. Maybe. So, well, there you have it, folks. That's kind of all of the news that's been happening in the Disney Vacation Club space over the course of the past month that we wanted to recap for you. Articles on all of these topics are up over on dvcfan.com if you want to kind of take a deeper dive into reading more and exploring. Also, as always, join in our conversation over at the DVC Fan Facebook group where we kind of chat through these things, talk through our ideas. An amazing community over there. Can't say enough about that. So, but I think that's going to do it for us for this episode of the DVC show. And hit the like button, subscribe, do all the things, push all the buttons. It does a world of good to us, and we will see you next Monday.